The smell of pine and old leather hit me the moment I stepped into my grandfather's workshop. 3 days after the funeral, and I could still hear his laugh echoing off the timber walls. I'm Derek Lansing, 32, and I just driven 8 hours from Seattle back to Bellingham, Washington, where I grew up. My grandfather, Pop as I called him, raised me after my parents died in a car accident when I was 9. He was a furniture maker, the kind who could turn a slab of raw cedar into something that looked like it belonged in a museum. I wasn't supposed to be here alone. My fiancée, Melissa, and her brother Troy were supposed to meet me here an hour ago to help sort through Pop's things. But when I pulled up, the driveway was empty except for my truck. I figured they were running late, so I let myself in with the key Pop had given me years ago. The workshop looked exactly how he'd left it. Half-finished rocking chair in the corner, tools organized on pegboards, and that old radio still covered in sawdust. I walked to his workbench and found an envelope with my name on it, sealed with red wax. My hands shook a little as I opened it. Inside was a handwritten letter, a deed, and a key. Derek, if you're reading this, I'm gone, but I need you to know something. The cabin at Lake Whatcom, the one I told you I sold 15 years ago? I never sold it. I kept it, fixed it up, paid it off. It's worth about $1.2 million now, son, maybe more. The deed is in your name only. Always has been. There's also a safety deposit box at First National, number 447. The key's in here. Inside that box is documentation for 3 investment accounts I set up for you when you were 16, stocks mostly, timber companies, and Microsoft back when it was cheap. Last time I checked, it was sitting around $840,000. I never told you because I wanted you to build your own life first, make your own money, know your own worth. You did that. I'm proud of you. But here's the thing, and I hate that I have to say this in a letter instead of to your face. Melissa isn't who you think she is. I've seen things, heard things. Her brother too. They've been asking me about my assets for months, playing it off like concern, but I know a con when I see one. I grew up poor, Derek. I know what desperation looks like, and I know what greed looks like. She's the latter. Don't tell her about any of this until you're sure. Trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. The cabin's yours. The money's yours. The workshop's yours. Build something good with it, son. And don't let anyone take what you earned by being a decent man. I love you. Always have, always will. Pop. I read it 3 times. My throat felt tight, like I couldn't get enough air. Melissa and I had been together for 2 years, engaged for 6 months. She was a real estate agent, made decent money, or at least that's what she told me. Her brother Troy worked in finance, supposedly. They'd both been around a lot in Pop's last few months, especially after his cancer diagnosis. I remembered Melissa offering to help him with paperwork, said she knew a guy who could help with estate planning. Pop had politely declined every time. I folded the letter and slid it into my jacket pocket, along with the deed and the key. My phone buzzed. Text from Melissa. Running late, babe. Troy's car wouldn't start. Be there in 20. Did you find anything good? I stared at that last sentence. Did you find anything good? Not how are you holding up, not, I'm sorry for your loss again. Did you find anything good? I didn't reply. Instead, I walked outside and sat on the porch steps, waiting. The May air smelled like fresh-cut grass and rain. I could see the road from here, winding through the trees. 15 minutes later, a black Audi pulled up. Troy's car. The one that supposedly wouldn't start. They got out laughing about something. Melissa saw me and her face shifted into that sympathetic expression she'd been wearing since the funeral. She walked over and kissed my cheek. Hey baby, I'm so sorry we're late. Troy's car was acting up. Troy nodded, hands in his pockets. Expensive sunglasses on even though the sky was overcast. Yeah man, alternator's shot. Had to jump it twice. I looked at the Audi. Engine was still ticking, cooling down. Not the sound of a car that just got jumped. The sound of a car that had been running smooth for a while. No problem, I said. I just got here myself. We went inside. Melissa immediately started opening drawers, looking through cabinets. Troy was checking out the tools, picking up the expensive ones, the German chisels and Japanese saws. So, Melissa said, trying to sound casual, did your grandfather leave any kind of will or anything? I mean, I know this is hard to talk about, but we should probably figure out what's here. Yeah, Troy added, estate stuff can get messy if you don't handle it right. I've got a buddy who's a lawyer, specializes in this kind of thing. Could probably help you out, get everything sorted. I watched them. Melissa was opening drawers faster now, more urgent. Troy had moved to the filing cabinet. He didn't leave much, I said. Just the tools and the workshop. Everything else was pretty simple. Melissa stopped. Turned around. That's it? I mean, didn't he own that cabin? The one he was always talking about? He sold that years ago, I said, watching her face. Told me he needed the money for medical bills. She exchanged a look with Troy. Quick, but I caught it. Right, she said. I just thought maybe. I don't know. I thought I heard him mention property once. Nope, I said. Just this place. Troy cleared his throat. Well, this workshop's gotta be worth something. The tools alone, I mean. Some of this stuff is vintage. You could probably get 50, 60 grand if you sold it as a lot. I'm not selling it, I said. Come on, man, Troy said, that financial advisor voice kicking in. Be practical. You live in Seattle. You're gonna drive 8 hours every time you want to use a table saw. Sell it, take the money, invest it properly. I can help you with that. Melissa put her hand on my arm. He's right, Derek. I know it's sentimental, but we have to think about our future. The wedding's expensive, and we were talking about buying a house. This could be a down payment. Our future. I felt something cold settle in my chest. I'll think about it, I said. I told them I needed to finish up some things alone, needed some time in Pop's space by myself. Melissa seemed annoyed but covered it quickly. They left after another 20 minutes of Troy appraising tools and Melissa taking photos of the workshop for insurance purposes. The second their car disappeared down the road, I got in my truck and drove straight to First National Bank. The safety deposit box was right where Pop said it'd be. Inside was a thick folder. Account statements, stock certificates, and another letter. Derek, if you're reading this, you went to the bank. Good. That means you're taking this seriously. I need to tell you something I saw, and I hate that I have to do it this way. 2 months ago, I went to the cabin to check on some repairs. I didn't tell anyone I was going. When I got there, I found Melissa and Troy inside. They picked the lock. They were taking photos, measuring rooms, talking about how they could flip it for $5 million easy, split it 60-40. Derek gets nothing because he doesn't even know it exists. Those were her exact words. I didn't confront them. I just watched from the tree line and left. I changed the locks the next day, installed cameras. I've got it all recorded if you need it. The footage is on a USB drive in the bottom of this box. I wanted to tell you in person. But the cancer moved faster than I expected. I'm sorry, son. I know you love her. But she doesn't love you. She loves what she thinks you'll inherit. Don't give her the chance to take it. You're a good man. You deserve better. Pop. I found the USB drive. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped it. I sat in my truck in the bank parking lot and called my buddy Marcus, the only lawyer I trusted, guy I went to college with before he went to law school and I went into software development. Marcus, I need help. Like, right now. What's going on? I told him everything. The letter, the deed, the money, the USB drive. He was quiet for a long moment. Don't go home, he said. Don't tell Melissa anything. Come to my office. We need to watch that footage, and we need to talk about protecting these assets. I drove to Seattle. Took 8 hours, and I didn't answer a single call from Melissa. By the time I got to Marcus's office, it was almost midnight. He was still there, waiting. We watched the footage. Crystal clear, time-stamped, dated. Melissa and Troy inside Pop's cabin, going through closets, opening drawers. The audio was perfect. Melissa's voice. Once the old man dies, Derek's going to inherit this. He won't even know what to do with it. We tell him it's in bad shape, needs to be sold as is. We get it listed through my agency. Troy handles the sale. We skim 30% off the top before Derek even sees the paperwork. Troy, what if he wants to keep it? Melissa, he won't. He's too sentimental about his grandfather to want to deal with the property. He'll want to sell it fast and move on. Trust me, I know how he thinks. He doesn't have the spine for business decisions. Troy, laughing, and if he does want to keep it? Melissa, then we get married, it becomes community property, and I file for divorce in 2 years. Washington's a 50-50 state. I get half of everything. I felt sick. Marcus paused the video. This is conspiracy to commit fraud, he said quietly. And she just confessed to planning asset manipulation and fraudulent concealment. This is enough to not only break your engagement but potentially pursue charges. I don't want charges, I said. I just want out. Then let's get you out clean. First thing tomorrow, we file to protect these assets. Inherited property is separate from marital property in Washington, but only if you're not married yet. Once you're married, it gets complicated. We need to move fast. That night, I stayed at Marcus's place. Didn't sleep much. Kept thinking about the last 2 years, wondering how much of it was real. The way she'd smile at me, The way she'd talk about our future. The way she'd held my hand at Pop's funeral. All of it felt poisoned now. At 6 a.m., Marcus and I filed an emergency petition to protect the inherited assets. By 8 a.m., we drafted a formal letter dissolving the engagement. By 9 a.m., I'd blocked Melissa and Troy on everything except email, because Marcus said we might need a paper trail. At 9:47 a.m., my phone started buzzing. Emails from Melissa. Derek, where are you? Why aren't you answering? I'm worried. Then, 10 minutes later, this isn't funny, call me? Then, an hour after that, Troy said you filed something at the courthouse. What the hell is going on? Marcus raised an eyebrow. That was fast. Someone's got a buddy in the clerk's office. At noon, she called from a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer, but Marcus nodded. Put it on speaker, he said. I answered. Derek, what the hell are you doing? Her voice was sharp now, no more sympathy act. You filed to protect assets? We're engaged. We're supposed to be a team. I saw the video. Melissa. Silence. Long, heavy silence. What video? The one from Pop's cabin. The one where you and Troy broke in and planned to defraud me. More silence. Then, that's not what it looked like. We were just talking. We were trying to help you figure out what to do with the property. You said I didn't have the spine for business decisions. Her voice changed. Colder. You're making a mistake. If you do this, if you break off the engagement, I'll sue you for emotional distress. I gave up 2 years of my life for you. Marcus leaned forward and spoke toward the phone. This is Marcus Chen, Mr. Lansing's attorney. Any lawsuit you file will be countered with evidence of attempted fraud, conspiracy, and trespassing. We have video evidence, timestamps, and audio confession. I'd advise you to consult your own attorney before making threats. She hung up. Troy called 5 minutes later. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. Look man, Melissa's upset. You're being unreasonable. We were just looking out for you. That cabin's a money pit anyway. You should sell it. Let me connect you with my guy, we'll get you a fair price, and everyone walks away happy. Don't blow this up over nothing. Marcus laughed. He's still trying to get a piece of it. These people are unbelievable. Over the next 3 days, the messages got more desperate. Melissa tried to apologize, said she was just stressed about wedding planning, that Troy put ideas in her head. Then she tried anger, said I was cruel and vindictive. Then she tried bargaining, said we could go to counseling. I didn't respond to any of it. On the 4th day, I drove back to Bellingham. This time, I went to the cabin. Pop had given me the new code for the security gate in his letter. The place was exactly how I remembered it from childhood, but better. He'd renovated it. New roof, new deck, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the lake. Inside was immaculate. Hardwood floors, stone fireplace, furniture he'd built himself. There was another letter on the kitchen table. If you're here, you did the right thing. I'm proud of you, son. This place is yours now. I built most of the furniture in here over the last 10 years, always thinking about the day you'd bring your own family here. I'm sorry it didn't work out with Melissa. I really am. I know you loved her, or thought you did. But love doesn't plot. Love doesn't scheme. Love doesn't see you as an asset to be liquidated. Real love is what I had with your grandmother, God rest her soul. It's what your parents had. It's putting someone else first, even when it costs you. You'll find that someday, someone who sees you, not your inheritance. Until then, you've got this place. You've got the workshop. You've got the investments. And you've got your integrity. That's more than most people can say. Build something good, Derek. Pop. I sat on the deck and watched the sun set over Lake Whatcom. The water was so still it looked like glass. I thought about Pop, about the hours he'd spent teaching me to measure twice and cut once, to sand with the grain, to respect the wood. He taught me more than carpentry. He taught me about patience, about quality over speed, about building things that last. My phone buzzed. Email from Melissa. I'm keeping the ring. I almost laughed. The ring had cost me $4,000, which seemed like a lot at the time. Now, sitting on property worth over $1 million, with investments worth almost another $1 million, $4,000 felt like nothing. Like paying someone to show me who they really were. I replied with one line, consider it severance pay. She didn't respond after that. A week later, I met with Marcus to finalize everything. The assets were protected, the engagement was legally dissolved, and he'd filed a restraining order after Troy showed up at my apartment in Seattle making threats. Marcus had also helped me set up a trust, everything structured so that if I did get married someday, these assets would remain separate property. You're good, Marcus said, sliding the papers across his desk. Everything's locked down. She can't touch any of it. Thanks, man. I owe you. You don't owe me anything. But you do owe it to yourself to take some time before jumping into another relationship. Get therapy if you need it. Process this. What she did, that's trauma. Don't pretend it isn't. He was right. I spent the next 2 months seeing a therapist in Seattle, working through the anger and the betrayal and the feeling that I should have seen it coming. Dr. Reeves was patient with me, helped me understand that predators are good at what they do, that it wasn't my fault for trusting someone I thought loved me. In the meantime, I started spending weekends at the cabin. I'd drive up Friday nights, spend Saturday and Sunday working in Pop's workshop, building things. I made a dining table for the cabin, then a bookshelf, then a bed frame. The repetition was meditative. Measure, cut, sand, assemble. Measure, cut, sand, assemble. Every piece of furniture I built felt like I was rebuilding myself too. 3 months after the breakup, I got an email from an address I didn't recognize. Subject line, "You'll regret this." I opened it. It was from Troy. "You think you won, but you didn't. Melissa's already engaged to someone else, a real estate developer worth 10 times what you'll ever have. She upgraded. And I'm doing fine too. Better than fine. Meanwhile, you're alone in your dead grandfather's cabin playing with woodworking tools like a child. You're pathetic." She dodged a bullet. I read it twice, then forwarded it to Marcus with a note. "Is this harassment?" He replied within an hour, "Legally? Borderline. Practically? He's trying to get a reaction. Don't give him one. Block the email and move on. You won, Derek. He's just mad about it." I blocked the email. But I didn't need Marcus to tell me I'd won. I already knew. By month 4, I'd made a decision. I put in my notice at the software company in Seattle. My boss was disappointed but understood. I'd been remote half the time anyway since Pop got sick. I moved to the cabin full-time, set up a home office and started freelancing. Turns out, there's plenty of work for software developers who don't need to be in an office, and I could charge more as a contractor than I'd been making as a salaried employee. The cabin became my base. I'd work during the week, building apps and websites for clients all over the country. On weekends, I'd work in Pop's shop, building furniture. I started selling some of it at a local market in Bellingham. Nothing fancy, just simple stuff. Coffee tables, cutting boards, shelves. People loved it. They'd ask about the wood, about the process, and I'd tell them about Pop, about how he'd taught me. One Saturday in late August, a woman stopped at my booth. She was maybe 30, with dark hair pulled back in a braid and paint stains on her jeans. "Did you make all of this?" she asked, running her hand along a walnut table. "Yeah. My grandfather taught me. It's beautiful. You can feel the care in it." We talked for 20 minutes. Her name was Sophie. She was a painter, mostly landscapes, and she just moved to Bellingham from Portland. She bought a small shelf for her studio and asked if I ever took custom orders. "Depends on what you need," I said. "An easel, a good one. Wood, not metal. Something sturdy enough for large canvases." "I can do that." She smiled. "Great. Can I get your number?" "For the order?" I gave her my card. She left, and I didn't think much of it until she texted 2 days later with dimensions and wood preferences. We met at a coffee shop to go over details, and the conversation drifted away from the easel pretty quickly. She told me about her art, about why she left Portland, about her plan to spend a year in Bellingham just painting and figuring things out. I told her about Pop, about the cabin, about why I'd left Seattle. "So you walked away from your whole life because your fiancé was a fraud," she said. "That's pretty brave." I don't know if it was brave. I just didn't see another option. Most people would have stayed. Made excuses. Convinced themselves it wasn't that bad. You didn't. I finished the easel 3 weeks later. It was red cedar, mortise and tenon joints, adjustable height. I was proud of it. When Sophie came to pick it up, she stood there for a long time just looking at it. "This is perfect," she said quietly. "Thank you. You're welcome." She hesitated. "Can I ask you something? And you can say no, I won't be offended." "Sure. Do you want to get dinner sometime?" "Not as a client. Just as, I don't know, someone who thinks you're interesting." I thought about it. Thought about Dr. Reeves telling me to take my time, to be careful. Thought about Melissa and Troy and the last 2 years of lies. But I also thought about Pop's letter, about finding someone who sees you, not your inheritance. Sophie didn't know about the money or the investments. She just knew I built furniture and used to work in tech. "Yeah," I said. "I'd like that." We got dinner that Friday. Then the next Friday. By October, we were spending most weekends together, her painting in the cabin's sunroom while I worked in the shop. She never asked about money or property. She never pushed to move faster than I was comfortable with. She just existed beside me, easy and honest. One night in November, we were sitting on the deck, watching fog roll across the lake. She leaned her head on my shoulder. "Can I tell you something?" she said. "Of course. When I first moved here, I was running from a bad breakup too. My ex, he was controlling. Made me feel like I couldn't do anything right, like my art was a waste of time. When I left, he told me I'd never make it as a painter, that I'd come crawling back. I almost believed him. But you didn't go back." "No, I didn't. And now I'm here, with you, and I'm happier than I've been in years. So, I guess what I'm saying is, I'm glad we both walked away from people who didn't deserve us." I kissed the top of her head. "Me too." In December, I got one last email from Melissa. No text, just a photo attachment. It was her wedding photo. She was in a white dress, standing next to a guy in an expensive suit. They were in front of some resort in Mexico. She looked happy. Or at least she looked like she was trying to look happy. I deleted it without responding. Marcus called me an hour later. "Did you see it?" "Yeah." "You okay?" "I'm good, actually. I just feel sorry for that guy." Marcus laughed. "That's how you know you're healed." By the time the new year rolled around, I'd sold the Seattle apartment and moved to the cabin permanently. Sophie and I weren't engaged or anything. We were taking it slow. But she'd started keeping a toothbrush in the bathroom and half her art supplies were in the sunroom. It felt natural. Easy, like something Pop would have approved of. On New Year's Day, I drove to the cemetery where Pop was buried. I brought a thermos of coffee and sat on the bench near his headstone. "Hey Pop," I said. "I know you can't hear me, but I'm gonna talk anyway. I did what you said. I protected the assets, I walked away from Melissa, I built something good. The cabin's great. I'm working from here now, doing freelance dev work and selling furniture on the side. I met someone too. Her name's Sophie. She's a painter. I think you'd like her. She's kind and she's honest, and she doesn't care about money. She just cares about making art and being happy. I'm building her a studio in the spring, gonna convert the old shed behind the cabin. Figure you'd approve of that, putting the space to good use. I miss you, Pop. Every day. But I'm okay. Better than okay. I'm building a life I'm proud of, with my own hands, just like you taught me. Thank you for everything. For raising me, for teaching me, for protecting me even after you were gone. I won't waste it. I promise." I finished my coffee, said goodbye, and drove back to the cabin. Sophie was waiting on the deck. Sketch pad in her lap, drawing the way the winter light hit the trees. She looked up when I pulled in and smiled. "Hey," she called. "How was it?" "Good," I said. "Really good." That night, we cooked dinner together in the kitchen. Pop had renovated. We ate at the table I'd built. We watched the stars come out over the lake. And for the first time since Pop died, I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. No lies. No schemes. No wondering if the person next to me saw me as a target. Just peace. Just honesty. Just a life built on solid ground, with my own two hands, the way Pop always said it should be. And that, I realized, was the real inheritance he'd left me. Not the money or the property, though those mattered. But the knowledge that I deserved better than people who saw me as something to exploit. The courage to walk away when something was wrong, even when it hurt. The patience to build something real, something that lasts. I looked over at Sophie, curled up on the couch with a book. She caught me staring and raised an eyebrow. "What?" "Nothing," I said. "Just glad you're here." She smiled. "Me too." And I meant it. Every word.